it's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Monday, August 8th. So Monday being ruled over by the moon on the Lionsgate portal. What do we got to look at? We got to look at the energy that the moon is bringing to this peak energy. Why? Because our emotions, our unconscious self, our intuition ruled over by the moon is at its peak energy, and we are definitely needing to dive into what we need to focus on as we move through this very high potent energy portal. So the moon is still in Sagittarian energy. This is great for us because it aligns us with our higher self. We're able to have a great big vision, a great big dream. We are renewing the beliefs, the confidence, the self-esteem within ourselves, and we are looking to trust ourselves and trust the universe in a brand new way. Now, the moon will be going void, of course, at 6:31 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and will not be locking in to Capricorn energy until 2:39 p.m. This particular chunk of time where the moon is void is definitely going to shake us up. Whatever big vision, big dream, higher insight we've been attached to will likely get some fear spoken into it. Anytime that the moon is void, we get unstable, we get very shaky, we get very uncertain, very indecisive. And because this is a high energy peak portal, we have the dark force agenda really messing with our mental plane, with our energy to try and prevent us from actually jumping timelines, from actually raising our vibration and frequency high enough so that we can actually manifest what it is that we are focused on. We want to be very careful with our thoughts, with our emotions, with our actions while the moon is void. And then we move into Capricorn energy. Typically speaking, even if this was just a plain Jane kind of day, the moon moving from Sagittarian energy to Capricorn energy always feels a little bit heavy, a little bit weighted. It always feels like we are riding high and we're jumping out of a plane and not opening the parachute, doing a little bit of a splat on the earth. Why? Well, because that high peak fire energy of Sag is on top of the world, but this Capricorn energy is an earth energy, and we need to come back down to reality. So there's always that little bit of a jolt. Now, if you listen to the ascension forecast for the week, you would know that I actually think that this is a good vibration for us to be transiting in as we go through this portal. If you haven't listened to the forecast, please go ahead and listen to that. It's jam-packed full of information, especially about this transit, about this portal, and what it is that we can expect, mind, body, and soul, for the repercussions of the energy hitting such high levels. Now, the Capricorn energy is very valuable to us because it is the manifester of the zodiac. So we take the vision, we take the dream, we take the intuitive insights that we get from this Sag energy, and then we bring it into our physical form. We bring it back down to earth. We actually kind of organize what needs to happen in order to actually be able to bring some of these elements to earth. So having the Capricorn energy, the boss, the supervisor, the general contractor, the builder of the zodiac, in this particular position, as we reach these high vibrational frequencies to actually manifest new timelines, new storylines, is definitely going to work for us. So this Capricorn energy is going to shift us, yes, into a lower vibration frequency that brings us back down to earth, but also puts us in a position to figure out where it is that we have to create a little bit more order out of our thoughts, out of our emotions, out of our dreams, out of our insight. And in doing so, we actually create a brand new foundation and structure of what it is that we have to do, especially making plans, thinking very thoroughly about it, strategically, logically, practically. We have to be very calculated with how we go about actually, visualizing and infusing that vision with an emotion in order to actually bring it to life. So we got a lot going on for us here today. There are 12 different aspects going on here today, and 11 of them involve the moon. A very busy day for a moon-ruled day, especially with the Lionsgate portal peaking its energy. So the moon, while still in Sagittarian energy, is going to sextile, which is a good vibe, with Saturn, the Lord of Karma. Now, this is really putting us in a good position to see what it is that we have to build in our lives, in our physical lives, in order to bring some of these dreams and visions to life. Now, this is boosting up our confidence, boosting up our self-esteem, and really showing us where it is that we have to be a little bit more grounded in our approach if we actually want to bring forth some of the cornerstone elements in our physical circumstances that will be strong enough to house the dreams and visions that we're looking to bring in. This particular energy is also showing us where it is that we have to be a little bit more motivated, a little bit more disciplined to put things in order, to roll up our sleeves, to actually do the hard, dirty work in our physical lives, to rearrange, restructure, reorganize the details of our roles and responsibilities if we are looking to change our realities. Now, the moon is going to be bumping into Mars in a way that would suggest that we are going to have a situation pop off, a trigger, an activation that would present us with an opportunity to choose, to align with a different path over the actions in which we are willing to take. Now, let me just say that the moon interacting with Mars in this way could actually trigger a lot of irritation, a lot of frustration, a lot of impulse, even some anger. But it could also trigger a high volume of inspiration and motivation out of spite. Okay, so sometimes we look at the challenges, we look at the obstacles, and it makes us so freaking mad and so freaking frustrated that it actually creates a new level of inspiration and motivation for us to be disciplined enough to overcome those challenges. Let's try to manifest this energy in that way, because acting on impulse, throwing a tantrum, kind of, being irritable and frustrated and not actually using that energy for good is actually a waste of time and a waste of energy. So if you're presented with a choice point to take an action, to orient yourself with one path over the other, one choice, one decision over the other, use this fire energy to push you forward, blazing a path through the obstacles and challenges, instead of using this fire energy to burn yourself and everyone around you down. The moon is going to be making a very positive aspect with both the true node and Uranus. And as you know, Uranus and the true node still sitting very closely with one another in the cosmos. We are still kind of dealing and reeling from the repercussions, the consequences, the aftermath of this Uranus and true node conjunction. We will be in this energy seeing things, unexpected events and chance encounters and new opportunities align for quite some time. But the moon interacting with both the true node and Uranus in this way is highly suggestive that we are gaining huge perspective, huge insight, huge amounts of clarity on what needs to change, where it is that we have to adapt to that change, where it is that we have to refocus, what it is that we can do to take a step forward in the new paths that are being presented to us, especially as we align with this Lion's Gate portal energy. Now, right before the moon goes void at 6:31 a.m., we do have the last aspect with the moon in Sag squaring, entering into that boxing ring with Neptune, who is retrograde in Pisces. This is really going to cluster F our vision. This is going to bring us down a couple of pegs in the confidence that we were building, in the self-esteem that we were creating, in this light and airy, excitable focus on the new dreams and visions that we're trying to manifest. We become overwhelmed. This is essentially when we start speaking fear into our dreams, when we start getting a little bit of doubts and insecurities, overwhelmed with the choices, with the opportunities, with the weight of the world of what we have to do to actually change in order to invite in a new realistic manifestation for ourselves. This is going to put us at a disconnect with our intuition, which was very strong. This is going to put us at a disconnect with being able to hold that dream and vision. So we are going to have to work overtime in order to hold that vibration high. And this is going to push us into an overwhelming, overstimulated state of emotion, of thoughts, so much so that we just want to run away. We want to escape. We want to numb. We want to disassociate. This is where things get shaky. And then, like I said, bam, the moon goes void and kind of brings up all of these doubts and insecurities and uncertainties and starts speaking fear fear and paranoia into this beautiful vibe, this beautiful, vision and dream that we had just a couple hours ago. Now, while the moon is void, still very much in Sag energy, but still very shaky, we are going to have an interaction with Venus. And Venus, as you know, is in Cancer energy. We're trying to redefine our worth, our value. We're trying to redefine what it is that we want, need, and desire in our lives that bring us happiness and joy, especially in personal relationships. However, the shakiness, the uncertainties, the doubts, the fears are coming up right now. And now we realize that what it's going to take for us to actually change some of the elements in our physical realm in order to align with the vision and the dream that we just were excited about. And now we're starting to talk ourselves into our current circumstances not being so bad. Why? So that we can avoid having to boss up. Venus in Cancer is overly attached to the old. Even if we're uncomfortable, it is familiar. It is tried, it's tested, it's true, it's predictable. And a lot of us have fear of moving out of what it is that we can count on, what it is that we can predict, to put ourselves out there by chance, even to get a better reality, just because we don't know what to expect. This is going to highlight these doubts and insecurities for us, really kind of create a mess in our heart space, in our head space. Again, this is the dark force agenda really doing its work within us to try and talk us out of this high vibe, high frequency vision and dream that we are likely to manifest if we can override these negative thoughts and negative feelings. The moon, again, still void, of course, in this Sag energy, is making an interaction with Pluto. Now, here is another choice point. Pluto, the god of the underworld, is retrograde in Capricorn energy, trying to show us where in the past we failed to boss up, we failed to stand in our power, we failed to step into our authority, we failed to be the star of our own movie. This is essentially a reflection on where it is that we've given our power away and where it is that we have a want, need, and desire to take the control and power back in our lives. Now, that being said, this is a particular situation where, yes, negative thoughts, negative feelings, negative memories are going to come up. And the choice point that we're being offered is, are we going to review these negative thoughts, negative emotions, negative memories, and sit in the funk and be the victim and let ourselves just wallow in our self-sadness and self-pity? Or are we going to use this information, this perspective as a catalyst to actually make a change, to motivate us, to boss up, to step into our power, to take the control back? Now, at 12:57 p.m., the moon is going to make a very harmonious event with Mars. This would suggest that even if we got trapped in the darkness, even if we sat in the funk just for a freaking minute, that we were able to break ourselves out of that. Mars, in this particular aspect, is bumping up our discipline, our motivation, our inspiration to do better, to want better, to deserve better for ourselves. We want to get to building a brand new foundation in our lives of self-worth, of self-value, of a better routine for ourselves, of better relationship dynamics, of better money matters, all very much Taurus topics and themes that Mars is currently in. This is going to emotionally pep us up, peak us up. We are kind of digging ourselves out of the darkness, out of the funk, out of the hole. It's a great energy, especially seeing as the moon is still in Sag, which means that we are able to throw ourselves into an overconfident energy, an over, let's call it dramatic sense of confidence, of self-esteem, of, wanting, desiring these new realities, this new vision that we're excited to get to manifest. This is a good energy, a good vibe. And let me just say that this is the last aspect that the moon in Sag will make. And this is roughly around 1 p.m. The moon doesn't move into Capricorn until 2:39 p.m. And the very first aspect that we actually have with the moon in Capricorn doesn't even involve the moon. It's actually with the sun. The sun in Leo is going to trine, which is a beautiful energy, with Chiron, the wounded healer, who is retrograde in Aries energy. The sun likes to shine a bright light on whatever it is that we need to pour our time, energy, and life force into in order to make a change, in order to illuminate a brand new path, a brand new way of doing things. This particular interaction is going to shine a bright light on where it is that we need to be a little bit more disciplined to solve some of the problems that we're currently facing. Of course, Chiron illuminates the wounds, the problems, the triggers, and also shows us within ourselves where it is that we have the wisdom and resources to heal said triggers, wounds, problems. The sun, being in Leo, is bold, is brave, is courageous, is not wavering away from doing what we have to do to align with our highest truth, with our most raw and vulnerable self, in order to go after what it is that we actually want, what makes us happy, what our heart is asking us to pursue. So the sun essentially is showing us where it is, shining a bright light on where it is that we need to learn, where it is that we need to grow, where it is that we need to improve by embodying the qualities and characteristics of Leo energy. The boldness, the bravery, the courage that we need, the individualism that we have, the uniqueness that we embody, the skills and talents that we've been sleeping on. This is time for us to truly blossom, to truly stand in the spotlight. This is a time for us to recognize where a new mission, where a new purpose is unfolding for us. And again, playing into the fact that we are in the peak energy of the Lionsgate portal, where we do have the ability to quantum leap into a new timeline, into a new soul contract. This is a beautiful, blazing fire energy for us to really shine a bright light on what it is that we want to create for ourselves from here. Now, 445 is the very first moon aspect. And let me just say that the moon in Capricorn is going to make some very awkward interactions with the sun, with the true node, and with Uranus. So what we can kind of gather here, first of all, the moon in Capricorn brings us back down to earth. We're kind of having to fight off the negative Nancy narrative. Of course, this Capricorn energy being ruled over by Saturn, the Lord of Karma, does tend to bring us that negative narrative. Now, we know coming into the day that it is going to be a challenge to keep the high vibrational frequencies that we want to keep so that we can manifest, because we know that the dark force agenda does not want us to grow, does not want us to improve, does not want us to quantum leap or jump any kind of timeline. So the moon in Capricorn is very disciplined, and the first interaction that the moon in Capricorn is making, especially with the sun in Leo, is about really redefining what it is that we actually want, need, and desire from our heart and soul space. Why? Because we have some refinement to do. We have some planning to do. There's been a lot of big dreams, a lot of big ideas, a lot of big desires that have gotten activated in us. But now we have to whittle it down to what it is that is absolutely a no-brainer on what it is that we have to align with, what it is we have to create, what it is we actually want to pursue. This is going to, again, illuminate for us where it is that we have some work to do in actually gaining traction, building the kind of foundations in our lives that will actually be able to house the new elements of our reality that we're looking to manifest. Now, the interaction with the true node is a little bit wonky because the true node is asking us to get on the right path in order for us to reach our soul's mission, our soul's purpose. And the true node right now, in this particular interaction with the moon in Capricorn, is asking a little bit too much of us for that long-term vision. When Capricorn energy, yes, wants to focus on the long term, but doesn't want to get so wrapped up in thinking about the future that we miss cleaning up the energies of the here and now. Because if we don't get the here and now in order, then we have no chance in hell of bringing in the long-term vision and dream that we're actually looking to manifest. Why? Because we're projecting our power into the future when our power is needed here. And in this kind of conflict of trying to say, okay, well, where do I want to be in 6 months from now, a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? Yes, that requires us to move into the mental plane to capture a vision on what it is that we want to be doing and experiencing and living in those particular time frames. But it's also allowing our energy to leave our present bodies of here and now to construct a new reality for ourselves in a futuristic realm. The trick here is we have to pull our energy back. We have to stand in our power, stand in our authority, stand in the control that we actually have over the here and now, and start rearranging our here and now to actually align with the dreams and the visions that our future self wants to be living in. And of course, the moon interacting with Uranus being the great awakener who likes to shock us, who likes to disrupt us, who likes to show us where it is that the foundations in our life are maybe not as strong as we thought that they were, in order for us to open up our mind and our heart space to a different perspective, to a new way of doing things, to a new reality, a new change, a new shift, a new perspective, new understanding. We have to shift. And sometimes we need that shock. We need that disruption. We need, that shakeup in order for us to change a lot more quickly than many of us would actually prefer. So there is this, I'm going to say, electric energy coming in from the cosmos, definitely because of the Lionsgate portal. We do have to expect this effect to take a huge hit on our central nervous systems. Again, listen to the ascension forecast for this week for the physical symptoms that we can expect because of this high peak energy. But the moon and Uranus at this time is kind of, fighting it out, because emotionally speaking, we need to be grounded. We need to be rooted in the here and now. But unfortunately, because of this high peak energy coming in, this here and now doesn't feel so good. It feels like we want to crawl out of our skin, crawl out of our bodies, crawl out of our physical circumstances, and use that uncomfortability as a guide, as a framework on what it is you would like to crawl into once you could crawl away from this particular moment. By kind of divinely scripting a particular point of uncomfortability, we can figure out what would actually be comfortable for us to move into. And in doing that, that aligns the higher intellect, which, Uranus rules over, with the physical form that Capricorn energy is trying to keep us present in, so that we can start kind of cleaning up the mess of our mental and emotional planes in the here and now and our physical circumstances, so that we can actively start building, start creating the elements of the new versions of our reality that we actually wish to manifest.